Hi guys, I'm Anya. I am the baronial chatelaine for bgwlad. My job, what I do entirely, is just to help you guys while y'all are getting started on the newcomer's path. So if anybody has questions, if y'all need gold key or y'all need baronial feast gear, anything like that in the future, I am the person to talk to about that. Okay? I'm also going to be behind the curtain helping man this PowerPoint.
I can click the advanced slides for you if you want to stand up here in front.
Okay. Is she able to advance slides for me?
Yeah, she just clicks through.
Oh, bet. Okay. Okay, guys. So what is the SCA? It is the Society for Creative Anachronism. It was started in Berkeley, California, May 1st, 1966, I believe. And it essentially was a group of friends that got together, and they were like, we're going to have this really big, like, historical party in the backyard. And then they did, and it just became a really popular event that they kept having every single year. And since then, it has grown exponentially to multiple kingdoms all over the world.
So yeah, we're still at a party in Berkeley, California.
Yeah, pretty much.
Never end.
So we're an inclusive community that basically is in the pursuit of historical reenactment, but we're recreating history as we wish it were. So that being said, we make things like ideas, thoughts, implements, etc., things that are all included that are not necessarily period, but things that we wish could have been included during that time period, because either they make our lives easier or they just make for a better experience for everybody all the way around. And then you could go to the next slide. So the stellar kingdom of Ansteorra. So Ansteorra was founded in 1977, and it became known as a principality at one point. So a principality is you need to have a minimum of 100 paid members with heirs, which is like a prince, a princess, etc. But later we became a kingdom, so the requirement for that is 400 paid members plus heirs in 1979. The Kingdom of Ansteorra encompasses all of Texas, and then the Principality of Windham in Oklahoma, and which space station, asked Carlotta?
The ISS and the moon. We forgot to add the moon.
I forgot to add the moon.
We do own the moon because we landed on the moon with the most recent landing, and it's claimed by the Lock. So FYI.
Oh, very cool. Wait, Lock Soleil? Very cool.
Yeah, I was like, and there are several.
So within our kingdom, there are many groups. So there's locks, baronies, shires, etc. They all vary in sizes, events, and activities. And bgwlad is one of them. So bgwlad has officially been around since 1977. Sorry, I'm going to come look. It has grown into one of the largest baronies in all of Ansteorra. We have, the largest barony in Ansteorra. Not necessarily in the size in which we cover, but the amount of paid members that we have within our barony that are active. So we have many paths that we offer. We have Arts and Sciences Guild galore. We have a Moneyers Guild. We have a Scribals Guild. We have, I know some people do bardics. We have Leatherworking Guild. So, I mean, if you can think about it, yeah, and I think we have, like, an official, unofficial Brewers Guild where it's like we will have people come in and teach brewing classes if needed. Yeah. Rapier, chivalric, thrown weapons, archery, missiles, etc. So we offer a lot of different paths. So for newcomers to know, our Baroness Colfina is back here behind the curtain. And then our Baron Orazio, is he here today or no?
He's not. He is in California.
Okay. So you'll get to meet him next time. But this is our Baron and Baroness. They are the halberd excellencies of bgwlad. So if you guys have questions and cannot get a hold of me or the Seneschal, they're a great person to reach out to. They know just about anything and everything there is to know about bgwlad. Speaking of our Seneschal, this is Carlotta de Granada. they, them pronouns, and basically their job is to make sure that everybody is happy, there is harmony within the barony. Their job is also to arrange quite a lot of things. They wear many hats. And like, they handle things such as like contracts and such, like they did with the VFW today. We already established I'm Anya, I'm the Shadowlane. And then this is Hob. Hob is on Newcomers Academy Committee. Hob was a newcomer last year, actually. So he is more or less a peer of yours that you can reach out to for additional questions or resources. He has a lot of input and a lot of valuable things that he's learned during that time. Okay, so anachronisms are people, places, things, etc. that don't necessarily belong in the location or the environment in which you see them in. So it can be something like a night in a mall. It can be using vision, hearing, and mobility devices, right? We may see people with like duct tape rattans and duct tape and rattan swords. I can't think today. Comfortable footwear, ferry at a Ren fair using their cell phone. All of these are examples of an anachronism. Anachronisms are 100% allowed and encouraged. One of the things that we do is we use a lot of anachronisms. A lot of it is like modern technology that, like you may see somebody do, for instance, 3D printing of something, right? Or even like burning of tools. As a way to create something at a larger rate, or like largesse or something, but that is technically an anachronism.
Using a projector instead of just yelling this.
Yes. Okay, so I wanted to play this game with you guys and see if y'all could spot anachronisms that you see in the picture. I don't know how visible this is. Is it a little blurry? Yeah.
Plastic bins.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, plastic bins. Anything else? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, braids are period, but it may be different because of ties and such. Yeah. Yeah.
At that plastic box. I've also seen that there's a lighter to that red thing that's in front of the person that's wearing all yellow.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is a lighter. We have a period candle, very cute, but that is totally anachronistic.
Also, handouts.
Both the lady in green and the guy are wearing glasses.
Yes, they both have glasses. Another thing that you guys may not have noticed, this is a tent right here. And it is a modern tent, and it may not look like it belongs, but still 100% allowable. There is also rope here. The rope is used for roping things off. We use them a lot for like chivalric, chivalric fields, and then like for archery, etc. To try and
Safety rope.
Yes, safety rope. Thank you.
And that's nylon. So it's yellow and black. It's easy to see, but nylon's not.
Another thing you guys may not see, camping chairs. Could be a thing that they are using as well. So,
Probably all wearing tennis shoes.
100%. So, the reason I brought that up was because I kind of wanted you guys to see real examples of things that are allowable. Also, the sun hat. Sun hat may not be period, but is very much a comfort thing. So, the most... Right. And this is part of recreating as we wish it were. We want everybody to have fun and not die. And so that means that if we need to wear glasses, if we need to wear hats, we need to wear tennis shoes, use a modern tent while we get started, or even regular, chairs, all of those things are 100% okay and allowable.
Yeah, I think this black thing to the far right is like a modern wagon.
The thing next to the braid head.
Oh,
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I can see it a little clearer back here. It looks like a
Modern wagon, yeah. Yeah, and wagons are good for hauling things, so that way you don't die.
Also super common anachronism.
Yeah, very true.
There's probably 3 of them out there right now.
Yeah. Oh, Her Excellency brought one. Yeah, so. All right, we're good. So the dream, because we talked about how basically what part of the SCA is. It's a group of people that were following the dream to recreate history as we wish it were. The dream is going to be self-defined. It is something that you decide fits on your path, right? So it's the extent in which you want to be involved and or the amount that you want to pour into the SCA. We are not going to ask you to give more of yourself than you can give of yourself, because for you, that may not be the dream, right? A lot of us work 9-to-5 jobs. Our mundane life comes first. It sucks. I wish it didn't. But it does, 100%. So we're here to have fun and enjoy the atmosphere that we create, and part of that is us respecting our boundaries within ourselves and defining for ourselves what we want to do on our paths. We encourage everybody to maintain balance and not try to overcommit yourself or take on too many activities at once, because that can help prevent burnout. And sometimes what we see with newcomers is they may go 100% full throttle in, and then they burn themselves out really quick and need to take some time away. So just give it your pace and do what you can, okay? So, an attempt. So in the SCA, you'll hear this a lot. A lot of us will say, an attempt at garb. They made an attempt at feast gear. I have examples of that, and we'll talk about that in a minute. An attempt is really any attempt that you throw in at being anything pre-1600s. So, Hob, if you could come here.
This is what I wore to the very first SCA event I went to. Events are typically garb required. You make an attempt at garb. These are basic ass joggers that I got from Target, my work tennis shoes, and the shirt that I got from Sherwood. Any flowy looking shirt will qualify. You take it to come enough. Good enough.
Yep.
Got me in the game.
SCA, I think like a lot of us will see people in those things getting started. I think like Amazon sells them for what, like $20 or something? They're not a lot.
For $14 to $20.
Not a lot of money.
Thrift store, look at any oversized blouse you can get. You can probably get yourself entirely outfitted for your first event in $20 less.
Or just use the sheet you already own.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so have you guys seen Animal House? So I chose this picture because it's actually a pretty good attempt. A toga is an attempt.
Romans and Greeks.
Literally. And you'll see people do like quick chitons, and we can give you tips on that. It is super simple. It's literally like 2 squares of fabric, a couple of like safety pins, and then just sew it down the sides and put a rope around your waist, and there you go. Yeah, you don't even need to sew it. You just pull it on both sides, and wear shorts underneath, because I know from experience. But he's wearing... yeah, that's why. It was so, look, he knows he's going to be exposing some things, so he's wearing a tank underneath. It still counts as an attempt, right? It may not be the best attempt, but it's something that you can do. Some insignia and regalia are reserved in the SCA. So they can represent different awards or offices: white belts, coronets with pearls, laurel leaves, green belts. All of those things are maybe like things that we would advise you to steer clear of, just because they can indicate that you have a certain office or standing that you don't necessarily have. That being said, though, if you have questions about something that you want to wear, you can always ask questions. Most things are fine, and people are usually not going to say anything. And if they do say something and somebody's rude to you, come get one of us. We'll tell them something.
Come find me. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Colfina will get in their face. So yeah, it can also be like medievalish Halloween costume. If you have a Halloween costume where you were like, I don't know, something Shakespearean, say you were Juliet 6 years ago, counts. Amazon tunic and tights, Ren Fair garb. Yeah, anything Game of Thrones. I've seen people wear corsets to their first events. Totally fine.
Actually, I did.
Yep, see? And then also there's such thing as gold key, which is loner garb. So an example is right there, that blue tunic right there. I actually brought that as gold key for a person. So they're going to be wearing pants underneath of it and tennis shoes. But I have many, many tunics. And you can always reach out to me via Facebook, Discord, the Baronial Chatelaine email. If you reach out to me and let me know, like, please give me at least a little bit of advance notice, like preferably not day before. But if you let me know, like, if a week before you want to go, or like even that week, like on a Wednesday or something that I'm coming to PIP, I will bring you baronial loaner gear, and it doesn't matter if it's in the barony event, like a baronial event that we're hosting, or one that's out of the barony. I will make sure you guys have garb and you are good to go, okay?
And so people have loaned baronial loaner gear over the last 50 years, and we've got some really cool stuff, and we've got some really basic stuff as well. So we'll find something that fits you, I guarantee. We have huge stuff, tiny stuff, everywhere in between.
Yeah, there's like bags and belts and like all kinds of things in there.
There's like 3-piece
Real
garments.
cute doublet.
Mm-hmm.
Is there inventory of stuff?
Yes, so I keep inventory, so you basically will just sign a piece of paper. It's like your name and what date it was or whatever, and I'll sign off on it that I loaned it to you, and then I will come back and be like, hey, by the way, it was never checked back in.
It's been 9 months, which
Yeah,
is fine.
which is fine, but like, could I please has it back? I will wash it, I don't care, but I need it back. So, questions that may be frequently asked by newcomers on these topics. So how can I get more involved? You can always contact your chatelaine for connections with people. Part of my job is also to connect you with people when you have questions. So say you want to get into arts and sciences, and you don't know how to get started there, or can I use you as an example?
Sure.
Okay, perfect. Aelfric, I'm so sorry. Okay, so Aelfric had reached out to me via Facebook and had told me that he is 9th century Benedictine monk is what his persona is, and he had questions regarding garb. I actually knew somebody, Goldweird, who does a monk persona as well, so I got him in connection with him so he could answer any questions related to garb. So part of my job is knowing people in the barony with specific niches and helping you get connected to them so you can find that specific niche yourself and get started on your path. You can also visit the Kingdom of Baronial calendar and attend events, guild meetings, event planning, socials, etc. We'll talk more about that in the next section. We ask that everybody adhere to the SCA core values and maintain a level of respect and kindness. So basically, just treat everybody with respect. It's the biggest thing to know at getting started in the SCA. We are very big on anti-bullying, and we're very big on treating everybody with, care. We're all family here because we're all here. And then, are there events I can attend as a newcomer? So you can attend any and all events. There are some that are maybe reserved for people with specific awards or specific offices. But if it doesn't specify that, more than likely you are more than welcome to go to said events. Okay, yep. And then we'll go to the next. No, you're good.
So one thing we're doing with NCA is this year is we're trying to break everything down into like 20 to 30 minute little bits so you can digest the information that we just gave you. Just give us a second, and then we switch to a different topic.
If you want, I'll put it full screen.
Oh, thank you.
So you have a moment to kind of like let your mind shift and discover a different topic. And so each session has the different topics.
Oh, my water bottle is here.
The graphic that we put out, so you guys can know what to expect. So if there's a particular thing that you want to definitely know about, you can know in advance what it's going to be. So you're going to be here in person, or as you can see the recording, and you can watch on your own. So can you give us?
One thing I'll say relative to some of the recent talk is that you don't have to come up with a persona, a place, a time for a very long time. You could just be your first name of bgwlad. I was Corey bgwlad for the first 10 to 11 months. I was here until I finally figured out, hey, I went to the Claudio di Cassiope from Corfu, a Venetian 15th century. And it's just there's a couple things that in the research that was kind of fun. It's like it interested me, and it kind of sets me, kind of defines a few things for me to kind of maybe follow along. But then you don't have to even stick with what your time period is. You can just pick anything that interests you and go out there.
Yeah. So the person that was sitting here that disappeared just a second ago So that's Thomas Tempe. So he is a former variant of bgwlad. He'll come back in. He's been playing for a long time. He's awesome. But one of the interesting things about him is he has a persona of Thomas of Tempe, who's a monk, and then he has other Thomases throughout time that are ancestors of Thomas, so that he can time travel. And so this is this Thomas, this is different, someone who's known as Thomas from this time period. He does a lot of fun persona play, and he'll be one of your speakers later. But you can also do that. So you can pick a name that's like popular from Roman and on, and you can just time travel and do whatever you want. Or you can just choose to time travel no matter what. So I'm Escalada de Granada. I'm late period Spanish, but I play whenever I want, however I want, because that's my dream. I time travel. Imagine that.
I have a fun fact about recently registered Roman name. Tiffany, officially registered. It's an accurate and documentable historical name.
That's funny.
It's very cool.
Yeah,
Aubrey,
if you want
Katrine got it.
Yeah, and if you want one of the like fun joke names, we have literal people that do nothing but come up with cool joke names all the time.
I have a friend, she's got a whole like Google Doc that's just names that she could register if she wanted to. Okay.
Okay, so in this topic, we're going to be talking about day tripping and pre-registration basics, as well as event basics. So, what is an event? Yes.
Why is it NCA? Why is it NCA not?
Newcomers.
Oh, Newcomers Academy. You're good. So, events are immersive experiences that are usually hosted by a specific group within the SCA. So you're going to see a shire or a barony or whatever is going to be hosting an event. Like bgwlad does Michaelmas, right? Or like you see War of the Rams is usually hosted by the barony of Border March. And they're usually designed for people to either gather, educate, learn, feast, etc. from each other, right? Events usually will fall into three main categories. So we have day trip events, we'll have weekend events, and then we have wars, which are usually a little longer. Event examples are tournaments and martial activities, feasts and social gatherings, workshops, classes, demonstrations, etc. So, actually, this is perfect. The Kingdom calendar is the best place to find upcoming events. So what you're going to do is you can type it in on Google, and you can go in and type in like Onstiora Kingdom calendar, right? Or Onstiora calendar. Or if you know where you want to specifically look, you can check, like for instance, bgwlad calendar, and then you can search. And then if you go to the Onstiora in Maine, you can also search by hovering over events and selecting Kingdom calendar. So either way, but you're going to select the event that you're interested in learning more about on the calendar. And so this is an example of this. This is Through the Eyes of Ravens. So it's coming up this weekend in Ravensfort. Which is Huntsville. Yes. And so this has event details here. So this is just basic information. It has a PayPal link for pre-registration. It's got the event website, so you can find exclusive details on there as time and date. And then it has the location. And if you want to, underneath here, it says like you can look for directions. So all of that is located under the event. You just click on it and it'll pop up with like a blurb like that. And then if you utilize Facebook events, so what I do is I find an event that I want to go to. I'll go to Facebook events and I will type in the name of said event. And usually it'll pop up and you can put that you're going or that you're interested in going. And then you can start following that page. That's also a good place to keep track of information. A lot of times you'll see if help is needed with gate or anything like that, or if they need assistance at all in the event, what kind of feast they'll be having. They'll have a menu there usually. You'll also have a steward information there, so you can contact them if you have any further questions.
The SCA loves Facebook still.
It's just how it is.
There's a lot of stuff on Facebook. You're gonna
So much.
You're gonna find out.
So is that a barrier to interacting with SCA?
So it's not. Most groups also have Discord. We also have, if you join the SCA, so you pay for membership, we have the Instagram management portal, and it also has a calendar, and there are events set up in that, so you can also use that as well. And then Kofi's going to tell you.
Yes. So in addition to being the Baroness of bgwlad, I'm also the Emergency Replacement Kingdom Web Minister. And by policy, by rule, all of the feast information schedule, location, all that kind of stuff, it has to be on the website first. And so the website is where you can go to get, here's the info,
And then the social platforms, Facebook, Discord, et cetera, is where you can then say, I want to chat with people about it, ask questions. So the core information should always be on the website. You don't need like to join the Facebook for it. But for chatting and asking questions, that's what the social platforms can do.
And then this is a hob. Hello, hob. I like this picture because this was Hob running gate at Michaelmas. So I was like, oh, yes, one of our events, one of our own. Lovely. So pre-reg. Pre-registration is early registration to an event. So I showed you earlier where there was a PayPal link. The PayPal link is where you click to pre-register. Pre-registration is helpful not just for you, but also for the event stewards, because they get basic information like how many people they're going to be having there, so that way they know how many to account for feast, or how many people they can anticipate on for the site, so that way they get the correct number of site allowance, right? They can also get the correct number of site tokens. But you'll prepay online, you check in the day of at gate with somebody like Hob. And basically what it looks like is you walk up, you're like, they'll ask you, did you pre-register or not registered? And you'll tell them, yes, I pre-registered. You tell them your name. They'll mark you down on the paper, and they'll just check if you have your membership ID.
The other thing about pre-registration, as of right now, we're hoping this will change in the very near future. Pre-registration is the only way you can pay with a card. If you come to site and you need to pay, you have to pay with a check, like it's the 1950s, or you will pay in cash.
yes.
So either bring cash with you, have a checkbook magically, or like I literally have just an SCA checkbook, or pay with pre-registration in advance. We are working on a way to be able to pay with card at an event. It's in process. It's not there yet. We are living in the medieval ages.
One of the benefits also, in addition to paying with card, you can also put down if you are allergic to anything. So it'll ask you specifically, do you have any allergies when accounting for feast? I am allergic to mushrooms, for instance. You know how many people love mushrooms in the Middle Ages? Yeah. It's everywhere. It's like in almost every recipe. So I always have to ask at feast. If I pre-register, I don't have to ask, because then I will let them know, and usually they have at least one dish that doesn't include mushrooms. Okay. So if you pre-registered for an event, we kind of talked about what that looks like. If you did not pre-register for the event, you basically just fill out a provided form with your information, and then they're going to ask you whether you have a membership and if you'll be paying the entry fees. And then you'll sign any waivers that are requested of you. So if you are not a member of the SCA, anytime that you gate in, you will have to pay, you will have to sign waivers, which basically is just like a site waiver stating that you're not going to sue the SCA if you get injured on the site. Or there's a horse waiver.
Everyone has to sign it.
Everyone has to sign an equestrian waiver.
If there are horses on site, you will sign an equestrian waiver because horses do dangerous things because they're animals, and you understand that.
And then if you're under 18, you will have to sign a waiver no matter what parents for you, unless you have a blue card and that's on file.
Blue card just means a paid membership.
Yeah, just paid membership.
It's not an organ paramedics.
Yeah, sorry. So, and then again, payments are usually only made via cash or check. So if you pay at gate, you have to bring cash or check with you, and your membership card via your phone or like a blue card. Yes. All right, and I think that's it for this one. Okay, members and non-members. So this is an example of a membership. Ooh. This is actually my membership. I have to blur it out. So you will be asked whether you are a member of the SCA or a non-member. Paid members receive a discount at entry when gating in. So it's $10 an event per person. So you get a $10 discount if you are a member. If you plan on attending at least 5 events a year, Your membership basically pays for itself.
Membership is $45.
Yep. And if you're a student with a valid student ID, you can usually also get discounted rates if you ask. So, what is a Daytrip? So this is from our Candlemas event this year. Candlemas is a really big event that we host here in bgwlad. We usually do it in February, first week of February to be specific. And it is a day trip, so this is a good example of that. Day trips often are held for one day, so it's as it sounds. Usually you're going to drive out to the site. They're really beneficial if you try to keep it within a 4-hour drive. So if you plan to drive someplace for 6 hours and then go to the event all day and then drive another 6 hours back, you're probably going to be exhausted by the time you get home and never want to do that again. So it's better if it's 4 hours or less. You'll drive there, you'll hang out, do whatever you're going to do, feast, whatever, be merry, and then you're going to drive back home. It's best if you're going to be doing that to avoid any kind of alcoholic beverages if site is wet. And wet site means that alcohol is allowed on site. If you have difficulty with transportation, but you want to day trip an event, you can always reach out to us via the Baronial Facebook, the Baronial Discord, or like via email.
Or even just come to the event and be like, hey, is anyone going to the event this weekend? I'm looking for a ride. And
Yeah.
there's always people that will give each other rides because we're all going to the same places.
100%. Like for instance, Through the Eyes of Ravens. Escarlata and then we're going this weekend. If I wanted to go to that, I could ask if I could ride with. And the answer is probably yes, depending on the stuff they feed there in the car. Yeah. Okay, so things that you may bring to an event. So we talked about an attempted garb. You're going to want to bring a period, like appropriate vessel. And when I say that, I mean like it can be a mug, right? It can be a coffee mug that looks semi, decent. Like probably doesn't have cartoon characters, but just a regular coffee mug. A chair to sit in, a camping chair is great. People usually ask if you can like make an attempt to like bring fabric just to cover the chair, but nobody's gonna say anything. Sunglasses, sunscreen, glasses, bug spray, sun hats, allergy medications, regular medications, anything like that that you may need for comfortability purposes. Like for instance, I know I get asthma, so sometimes I bring my inhaler. It's literally in that bag. And then I literally brought like my eye drops because I have dry eyes when my allergies get bad. So I have eye drops. So whatever. Feast gear, so it's basically you're gonna want like a plate, a bowl, cutlery, and a cup. I brought examples there so you guys can take a look if you want. Some of those are things that are like really good attempts, right? And they look really nice. I got them at Goodwill, super cheap. Like literally that fancy little ceramic plate, I paid $5 for. The black plate with the regular utensils, that also works. That's just from my house. And I brought a Ren Fair mug that I had from like 6 years ago. So whatever works. And if you guys need help with anything, you can always ask us. Disposables can be used in the meantime. People usually frown on like plastics, but if you need to, just bring like paper plates, blah, 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 whatever in your bag. It's not a big deal.
For instance, this weekend at Through the Eyes of Ravens, the event is on what's called a primitive site. So some of our sites will be nicer than others. Because this one's a primitive site, it's on a ranch that has active cattle. So we actually don't have access to a bunch of running water. So we're running as a fundraiser the feast and all the food throughout the weekend. So we actually bought compostable, earth-friendly materials so that if someone doesn't get the plate quite in the trash can and one of the animals like eats it, it's completely fine. But we're providing the paper goods for that entire event because we know people aren't going to be able to wash their feast gear. So if you have a more primitive site, a lot of times we'll do something like that, and most places will have some amount of paper good feast gear for people that forget or don't have it, it's their first event, or it's an early on event. So just something to think about when you're thinking about sites and whether or not you're going to do it.
Yep. And then same thing with cutlery and everything. That little set right there that looks period, that looks nice. You can bring literally just a fork, knife, and spoon from house. Nobody's gonna care. But if you want to, like, a nice one, Amazon, $25. And it came with, like, a little leather sheath. I broke it, but it's fine.
We have leather workers. Yeah.
We have leather workers. I can just reach out to Claudio and be like, how much would this cost? That being said, you can also bring, like, cash or check, membership card, and your student ID for the gate. Water and snacks if sideboard or feast is not necessarily provided. And, like, snacks are helpful so you don't die. A bag or a basket or box to carry your items in. I see people haul, like, all kinds of stuff. I see people bring, like, little Goodwill baskets, whatever they got, for, like, a few bucks, right? I will also see people bring, like, the nice giant wooden trunks. I'm not talking about any one person, Juan Carlos, that he makes and he brings to the, you know, to whatever, and he has all his nice feast gear in there.
When you walk out to Fifth, it's there.
It's very
Yeah.
I can show you.
He has very fancy trunks that he makes, and if you have questions about how to make one, I am sure he is the person to ask.
Actually, shameless plug. The Maker's Night in May, second Monday, he's
Yeah.
actually gonna be teaching a class at my house to make your own 6-panel box.
Boom, there you go.
Check the calendar, it's already on there.
Perfect.
It's nice because the ones he makes or the ones that he makes are the perfect size to sit on. So you have
Yes.
your chair and your stuff inside.
Yes, they're actually really comfortable too. I was scared that I would break it. I did not. And then you'll want to bring any specific items that you want to bring. So if you have a craft you're working on, you'll see some people bring out crafts. Some people bring out like a crochet or knoll bending or whatever. Some people will bring a bow for archery, or like their armor or a rattan sword, or if you're going to be cooking, maybe an apron, right? So just things that you want to bring to the event is also helpful. So, Baronial and Chatelaine pavilions. Huh? Yes.
For day events and stuff like that, like day events, do minors have to be accompanied by a parent or guardian?
Yes.
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 As a legal rule, we can't do that. Well, so the technical rule is your parent or legal guardian has to sign a waiver and you must be accompanied by an adult who's over the age of 18. They don't have to be your parent or guardian as long as you're with someone that the parents will give permission to is over the age of 18.
They have to sign, they have to have like a notarized waiver
Correct.
before you can do that.
Yeah,
They're not your legal guardian.
Yeah, so if you're gonna be a minor, you're gonna come to events, like, we'll get you the links to all the stuff you'll need to print off, and you'll just literally have your parents sign a notarized waiver that says this person is okay to have a kiddo, and then you'll be with the person that's above the age of 18, and we know that legally the parents have said it's fine.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so Baronial and Chatelaine pavilions. So if you don't recognize people at events and say you are new and you feel uncomfortable being by yourself, because sometimes that's a real thing, and we all like having community. If you don't recognize somebody and you feel uncomfortable, you can always look for this key. That is usually a chatelaine. And a chatelaine of any barony is here to make all newcomers, regardless of what barony you are with, feel comfortable. So if you see this key and you see this pavilion, whatever, with this key available or displayed, you can go to them and ask them if you can sit with them, or you can ask them about events that are occurring, classes, etc. Tell them things you're interested in. They will help set you up. You can also look for your baronial pavilion. So as you saw on the original slide, we had our device, our baronial device, and we can go back to it at the end. But if you look for our baronial device on anything, you will find where Colfina and Orazio set up. And usually they have, even for day trips, they'll usually have like a baronial pavilion set up. And they have snacks and they have waters, and they encourage everybody to come and sit on the rug and enjoy, you know, the shade.
So you always have a place to come sit, no matter what event that you're at, you can come sit under the pavilion in the shade, you don't have to bring your own pavilion. You can sit, we have plastic rugs, so you can sit on the ground. If you can bring a chair, you can bring your chair, and you're always welcome under the door of the pavilion at all times.
Yes. And if you can't find either, you can always ask somebody, where is bgwlad? I am looking for bgwlad, I am new. Somebody will point you in our direction. Everybody is typically very welcoming in the SCA and wants you to feel comfortable.
I'll also say, for more than a year, I started a conversation. Hi, I'm a newcomer, and I could ask any dumb question I wanted. That wasn't insulting or anything, but yeah.
No, true.
Because we're like, oh, you're new, okay. Ask whatever you
But
want.
and some of it is like, I would ask what period their clothing was or something like that, and people love to talk about when they've made some nice things for themselves. So,
Like, so we're all nerds.
so that's a
that are-
little shopping of periods and times.
Yeah, like we're all nerds that are really into whatever our thing is. And so one of my favorite things about the SCA is people are super passionate about whatever their rig is. And so you can be like, hey, can you tell me about like your garb? Or can you tell me about like your AS thing and they have some cool thing they've done? Like, tell me about the thing. And they are so excited that you're asking about their thing that they will info dump at you for like an hour and you will know everything there is to know about this super micro niche thing that this person is very passionate about. And you've made their day, they've made your day. Life is wonderful for everybody involved.
Sometimes you might have to find an escape.
Yes. Sometimes you're like, but yeah, so everybody's usually pretty friendly, and if you ask any question about anything they're doing, they're so excited to be able to tell you about their thing.
You remember Morgana from Callantyr? Fantastic. No, it's a great example. So this person, she is wonderful. She has a TikTok account, and she creates all kinds of really cool garb. Specifically, though, she is around my century Irish, so she is, I believe, 12th century Irish persona. And one of the things that she loves, Morgana McDermott, that's what it was. Yep. And she creates these fabulous dresses, and her Lenas and her Gunas are always amazing. But anyway, I asked questions, and she's like, oh yeah, I hand-dyed this dress with saffron myself and wanted to try, and it was like, okay, very cool. And then she's like, also has a video about this very niche gown that she made that also is everything that was illegal at one point. So everything banned, fabric or costuming wise, design wise, from the English to the Irish. So like at one point, the English were banning silks. And so she made this entire dress out of like silk, and it had a specific length to the sleeves for specific reasons. And it was very impressive. Yes, you're good. So you do not have to be a member to attend events. You just have to be interested in going to said events and like ask and try to find the resources to go to said events. Memberships, you may ask about membership fees. So associate memberships are $40. Sustaining members are $5.
So it makes it $45.
Associate, it's supposed to be $55. I was like, hold on, that's not right. Associate memberships are $40, sustaining members are $55, and sustaining members can add family members. So that's the big difference there. If you're an associate, which I am an associate, I don't have a family, so it's just one membership for $40. I don't get access to the newsletter, but like that's fine for me. But if you want access to the newsletter and or you have family members that you want to add for a rate of $15 per person, then you can do the sustaining membership. Where do you go when you get to an event? So the first place that you're going to want to go when you get to any event is gate. It's always suggested that you gate in even before unloading the vehicle, because it's kind of a pain to literally lug everything out there and then be like, okay, hold on, let me gate in for a few minutes, and especially if there's a line. And then you have to lug everything to wherever you're going.
Well, and sometimes when you come to the event, gates can have important announcements. So like, if it's
That's
raining,
true.
they'll be like, it looks like you should park over here, don't do that. There's mud there, don't park there. And they maybe will give you important instructions on, if we're out of fees, you can do this, you have that. So it's always a smart idea to just like get kind of near a gate, park, get out, see what you need to know, go ahead and do your stuff, and then they'll tell you where to go.
Yes. And then there may be certain things that you cannot bring to an event, like certain events may be like dry, for instance, so you may not be able to bring alcohol. If you have questions about those things, you can always reach out to the event steward. They handle literally the contracts for the event, so they're going to be the best person to tell you about what is in the contract and what you can and cannot bring.
Yeah, so there's basically three things that can happen with alcohol on site. So there's either it's a website, which means anybody can drink whatever they want. So we have one here because there's a cantina. Anybody can drink anywhere on the premises. There's also in period containers only, which means you can drink it in your period cup so that no one knows that you're carrying alcohol. Or there's a completely dry site. So a lot of times, like if we're using a Baptist church or something like that, it will be a dry site, for either religious reasons or because they just don't want the liability of anybody drinking on site. You can look at the event ad, so every event will have an ad that you put in the Kingdom newsletter, and it has to tell you if the site is wet, dry, or drink.
And it's also good to know if, like, for instance, say you do a weekend camping later and you have questions related to, like, can I bring a fire pit, right? Say it may be cold. It's best to always, it's always best to ask the event steward. They're keeping track of burn bans, so they would know.
Especially like right now. This in the fall or the time of year where like burn bans are on and then off and then on again.
Yep. Okay. So let's.
I want to go back to the beginning.
Yes, I wanted to. That's what I was going to say. So this. Yes. So this is the bgwlad device. Specifically, we are the land of the halberd excellencies, but the halberd barony. So you were looking for a gold halberd on a black and argent, a sable and argent background.
Which is really fancy.
So black and white or black and silver, but in our case it's black and white.
I have a question.
Yes.
How do we know when it's time to pay for a membership? We can play without a membership.
Yeah.
But at some point, you're going to want to buy a membership. How do you know you've reached that point?
I paid for my membership when I got tired of signing a waiver every practice.
Yeah,
So-
there's three kind of primary tipping points. One is I'm tired of signing the waiver, because when you pay for your membership, you say I agree to the waiver. Oh, thank you.
Uh, The second tipping point is I want that $10 discount because I'm going to enough events that paying the $40 for the membership gets me a discount on any event I go through the year, so it's worth it financially. And then the third big reason that folks will get a membership is they want to hold an office. If you're having, if you're the Baron and Baroness, if you're the Seneschal, the Chatelaine, if you're a safety marshal, you have to be a paid member. And so that is one of the other big reasons that folks kind of tip over that bar.
Thank you.
Then the fourth reason, which you can always do, because I only just remembered it, is that you can always buy a membership to support the organization. And it supports the international organization, not the local one. And so that's why I listed those first three, because those are currently, that's the way it's set up.
Yeah. I bought my first membership when I realized I was going to 7 or 8 events in 1 year. And I was like, well, I would have saved $30 at this point.
Mhm.
So I might as well just buy a membership. And then later I renewed it because I had taken an office. So now I'm locked in for 2 years.
And you actually get a discount if you buy a longer period, so you can buy up to 3 years at a time. And so you can get a discount by buying a longer period. And if you become an officer, the smart thing to do is buy a 3-year period. If you become an office, you can never have to. Do you guys have any other questions?
I guess.
Yeah.
This is free. This is free for all time now.
So since the membership money goes to the national organization, does the national organization subsidize the kingdoms or baronies at all? Do they pass that money on to us?
Generally, no.
Okay.
There are some large events that are, because Ansiora is Texas and Oklahoma. There's the Kingdom of Primaris is Florida, and there are very large events that the organization or multiple groups host where there are kickbacks to local groups, but generally, day to day, no, we don't. The organization doesn't have that set up. We can, if you have more questions about that.
Going to events is how you support your local
Going to
areas.
events, chipping in fundraisers, helping, even if it's not money, with set up, tear down, joining in many things, bringing your ideas. There's lots of ways to contribute. But the weekend events, because bgwlad, we have 2, and then Yule, which is a thing. But our big fall event, our big spring event, that is for our local group, the Austin chapter. That's where the money that comes in that covers our budget, that's where the majority of that comes from.
Which one's our big spring? Commander's Crucible?
So our spring event is Cannabis, and then our fall event is the bgwlad fall event, which last year was Michaelmas, and we may change the name. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's always called Baronial, and the
No, I thought you were talking about weekend events. I was like, wait, we have a. My bad.
So otherwise, we use the BMW space, which is this gorgeous, amazing space we're in right now.
Inside practices.
Yes. Is it on? I don't know. Okay, I'll just talk really loud.
You can take yours.
So we use this glorious, wonderful indoor space. And the reason I say it's glorious and wonderful is because before this, we used the park, and it was not glorious and wonderful. It was hot and wet and cold, and it got really dark really fast for most of the year.
Largely inaccessible to anybody with mobility.
Yes, if you had mosquitoes, mobility issues,
I think
the
if
bath.
index is above 110 legally, we have to cancel practices.
Yeah, so we basically.
It's 100 and,
Yeah.
boiling and
It's not smart.
Yeah.
You could cancel a lot, and then there was one time there were chiggers.
Well, and so that's the thing. So we had to cancel practice a lot, and it wasn't very fun. And so what would happen is we would have the show doing, we would have all these wonderful people that really wanted to do stuff with the SCA. They get really excited, and then we would have to cancel like the next 6 practices, and then they would be like, I don't know if this group ever meets anywhere, and they would stop coming. So we worked really hard to be able to find this space so we can have an indoor space that's heated and air conditioned and safe, and it doesn't get it doesn't rain on us when we're in here either. And that also allowed us to be able to do fighting and have A&S and just hang out space. So we get to teach classes. So Thomas will be teaching a class, or he'll be talking to people about putting together a players group. So if you're interested in period theater, I used to do period theater stuff with Thomas. And so we're talking about putting another group together for that. So if that's something you're interested in. But having this indoor space really helps us with that. This indoor space is not free, and it's not particularly cheap. But we work really hard to be able to do fundraising periodically and have people be able to give us money so that we are able to subsidize that ourselves so that we can have this awesome space. And it's been really good for us as a group because before when we were at the park, we would have like 20-ish people, 20 to 25 usually, maybe. And when it was in the summer months, less because it was just hot. And now we're averaging like 40 to 50 people because we have this wonderful welcoming space. We're able to let anybody in, and we're able to do additional activities. So we can do archery here. We can do thrown weapons each week. We couldn't necessarily do that at the park because it's depending on how it's set up, it may not be safe. So that's our big thing. And so I said this weekend we're running food for a different group. We're doing that as a fundraiser for the Barony so that we're able to get some money because it's $600 a month for us to be able to have the space.
You can donate online.
We also worked with, so I spoke earlier about having a way to use credit cards. We are working with the board of directors for the Society of Creative Anachronism to try to get the SCA to use Zephy. And so right now you're able to scan or do tap to pay and do a donation or recurring donation if you want to. And we are the test group for the society. And if they like what they see, this is something that they could roll out to every single group in the nation, which we think would be great. But this is something that Colfina, Orazio, Goldberg, who was the exchequer at the time, and myself, came to the SCA. We're like, look, I'm a lawyer. She's a data scientist. Goldbeard is someone that's been vetted through the national office multiple times. We're probably the most capable team you could have for this. And we convinced the bod to go with it and let us be the test team. So super exciting stuff, right? But basically we're done with our NCA stuff for now, and you guys can head out to PIP and come and hang out with us and do all the fun stuff, right?
We will have more classes if you have other questions.
Yes,
they
we have.
will be answered down the line. We don't know what the questions are.
Or just come back to us at any time. And then, yes, we'll have classes every other Thursday from 7 to 8. So that way you guys can come, learn some things, and then also go bash people's brains in.